the state of South Dakota. And I'm grateful that those are being debated right now. In fact, the college bill is in the Senate. The K-12 is still in committee, which I believe may be debated right exactly at this moment in time. But one of the things that I wanted to encourage all of you to do as the media and the reporters in the room is to be honest in your reporting. This last week of session is going to be up and down, a lot of different conversations going on, a lot of different things proposed. And I've been disappointed at some of the reporting as it's happened when it comes to critical race theory. Specifically, Stephen, you wrote an article where my policy education staffer specifically said that this legislation would not shield students from the discomfort of CRT. And your headline on your article said specifically South Dakota senators okay a bill shielding students from that discomfort. It was the exact opposite of what our testimony was on the bill, the effect of the bill. And so we're going to have a lot of big major pieces of legislation coming forward in the next week, and it would be grateful, I would be grateful if we'd be accurate in our reporting and get as many facts into these articles as possible. Kelloland had a story that they ran that specifically had to do with a professor that we've used in testimony in pushing this legislation and talking about what's happening here in the state of South Dakota, that basically the piece talks about the fact that it's not critical race theory that this specific professor was pushing, that it was instead critical social justice. And then the entire story goes on to defend critical race theory and completely says that it's a different topic, but then defends exactly what was being taught in that classroom and fits the definition of what we have in the bill that we're bringing forward. There's a story from Dakota News Now that is an opinion piece, not labeled as an opinion piece, not even covered and written by someone who typically deals in government or political issues. But it was an opinion piece written by someone who doesn't cover critical race theory, that obviously is, and not honest to portray it in the way that it was laid out by that entity as well. So it's just examples. There's times that I'm going to ask you to keep me accountable. I'm using this as an opportunity to ask you to be honest in your reporting, because this is important work we're going to be doing the next week here in the legislature. We have a big budget to get done, agreement to get done, a lot of conversations that happen in hallways. Facts are important, and I would hope that we all would do our due diligence to make sure that we're doing good service to the public while we're here working for them. So with that, I'll open up to questions you may have. Sure, Austin.
Governor Austin Goss, Dakota News Now. With the abortion ban, or the telemedicine abortion ban, excuse me, you know, obviously kind of the conversation that's been around any abortion legislation this year in any state, our state specifically in this case, has been, let's see what happens at the Supreme Court. What happens at the Supreme Court? Obviously, we have a trigger law in place that kind of deals with if abortion were to be outlawed, however, doesn't necessarily deal with if the Supreme Court kind of does or doesn't. Do you think it's possible that we'll be back for a special session on abortion come this summer?
You know, there is some significant cases in front of the Supreme Court coming up. We've all been watching the Dobbs case and to see what will happen with that decision that comes out of the High Court. The potential is there. If we do see Roe v. Wade struck down or a portion of it, there may be some decisions here in South Dakota